Okay, so what we're going to do today is talk about Chainlink and looking at the price predictions moving forward into 2022 and the key levels that you need to be looking out for if you're a Chainlink holder and if you're bullish on this project like I am. Okay, we'll have a look at obviously Link USD because that's the one that most people are going to be trading, and then we also want to have a look at Link BTC versus Ethereum to give us an idea of where we are in comparison to the majors in the market, and then we can extrapolate from that some price targets to look out for into the future. Okay, if you like this video and you like this sort of content, please go ahead and give it a like down below. Lets me know you want to see this stuff and also helps the YouTube algorithm to show it to the right people. So let's get straight into it. So essentially Chainlink in 2021 was fairly underwhelming actually compared to a lot of the other cryptos, because whilst a lot of the other coins have made massive moves, Chainlink has done a 2x, so you haven't lost any money and you've made still a nice 2x on your money. But in crypto, you're typically in that for the big gains, and considering that some of the other coins have had massive runs, Chainlink hasn't. Okay, so I'd be looking for this coin to move higher into 2022, and I think the fundamentals are, it's inevitable basically that Chainlink will trend up with time, and it will have its moment to shine. So first thing that we can see is that we are uptrending overall on this pattern over here, and if we form these key trend lines over here, we see basically we're in this parallel channel, and then we want to look for key areas of support resistance that we can see, and then on the weekly, boom. Okay, you can see here that we've had touches on the weekly at that $15 level when we flipped it earlier in the year from resistance to support, and we're currently holding that support quite nicely. And what you can also see with the way that Link moves, okay, is that it tends to move quite impulsively, and then it oscillates sideways and forms these big weekly support blocks and patterns over here. You can see that here, you can see that here again on a smaller scale, but really here again, we're basically forming very large weekly support. So we want to see this hold, and we want to see us eventually obviously move higher into these prices over here, and essentially break this kind of trend line impulsively and start to move higher. So that's basically what I'm looking out for Link. So we're going to talk about some price targets in a moment, because let's say that BTC for next year aims for and shoots for about 100k. Okay, now I am assuming that I'm giving you some of these price targets, assuming that you can halve this value if you don't think that Bitcoin's going to go up and you think that Link does. But if we can speculate that BTC, okay, will be 100k, okay, at some point next year. Now, obviously, we're going to bear in mind that these coins are not going to move at exactly the same pace as Bitcoin or Ethereum, and they're going to outpace each other at different points in the market cycle. But if we assume that Bitcoin still trends up with time and nothing really bad happens and we're in some sort of severe bear market, which I don't see, because like I said before, structurally BTC is pretty sound, we're still in an uptrend, okay, then let's say BTC from this price here, we move up and we twice in value, and we go to here, and we can see that that will put us at about the $44 mark. Okay, if at 100k at 100k BTC. Now, if we have a look at the Link BTC chart, we've also spoken about the fact that we're at key weekly support, and we've seen these ranges sort of form in the past. Okay, now if we have a look at this, we can also see, all right, just off the bat, we've had this area here where we flipped as resistance over here, and then we've been following this long area of sideways sort of bear market accumulation, corrective pattern, whatever it is that you want to call. But for me, this is actually not a bad time to actually be transferring your Bitcoin into Link, okay, in order for Link to outpace the market. Okay, so we're at key weekly support over here. Okay, any drop down below here, and you're potentially looking at the next key level as all the way down here. But I'm not betting on this. I'm not seeing a 65% decline in Link, but just bear in mind that Link has been in a bear market and it has been downtrending versus BTC, okay, over the past year and a half. So we are still waiting for that kind of breakout, right? But we've been still holding this weekly block really nice. And we can see as well that we hit exactly from here the 786 on the fib levels, okay? And even from the start, you can see it's this region over here. So this region is actually forming a key level of support, okay? And we've spoken about, the key levels that we look out for when we look for altcoin targets in the future, okay, whether that's versus the Bitcoin chart or whether that's versus the USD chart. And the most common ranges and ratios are a 1-to-1 ratio, a 1.618, and the 4.236. Obviously, this is not the same for every single coin, but if we actually have a look at some of those fib extensions from these levels, okay, what we can see is if we mark these off over here, we have the 1-to-1, which is over here at about 20,000 sats. And we have another one here at about 32,000 sats as a 1.618. We're not going to be, crazy greedy and have a look up here. We're just basically going to have a look at some of those key levels, okay, because obviously Link is quite far down from those levels. But if we have a look at that and we extrapolate that from current levels to get to here is going to be roughly a 350% move, and up to the 1.618 is going to be in and around a 600% move. So if we go back to Link USD, and we spoke about these levels here, so if we were at $44,000 over here, okay, sorry, $44,000, $44 on Link, and then we extrapolate that from here, okay, at $44,000 versus Bitcoin, we move up another 350%, okay. So where would that put us from here? That would put us somewhere, okay, in the region of a $200 Link, okay, $170, $180, $200 Link, okay. And if it does move to that 1.618 at some point, okay, we might even find that, we can move up to this sort of $300 mark, which might be coincide with somewhere towards the top of this trend line, okay. So those are some areas that I'd be looking out for, okay. I'm looking out for a Link potential valuation. And key price targets to look out for is somewhere around the $170 mark, okay, to a $300 or $350 mark Link, okay. So with that in mind, is there anything else that we can find, okay, from historical data that, Link moving into 2022, that we might get a run maybe in the coming months or the first or second quarter? Well, actually, yes, we can, okay? Because historically, if you look at all the peaks in the last 3 years, they've all occurred in the summer, exactly. So Link has actually had a really nice run, okay, in that first quarter where we've run here, and then we've run here, okay? So just something to bear in mind, that Link tends to peak in its USD value right in the middle of summer. So accumulating these portions over here, especially if we're at key levels of support, I don't think is a bad idea. So if we speculate that maybe we get some sort of Link high, in the middle of 2022, the summer, maybe July, August, June, that would put us, okay, somewhere along this region over here. Now, what price if we were to reach the top of this trend line, if that was, something that we can look out for? Again, it's somewhere between the ranges that we were talking about. So, when we were looking at maybe taking profits off the table, if we're, in a Link trade at this moment, okay, to take profits maybe at $170, should we get there and we're in a, the market conditions are looking pretty healthy, and maybe just keep taking off until we reach our ultimate target and let the rest of the bags run to about $300 if we get there. Okay, I always leave a little bit in just in case stuff starts to overshoot and fly. So yeah, and if we look at some of the fib relationships as well, okay, is that Link, does tend to, where are we? From here, whoops, wrong fib. From this impulse over here, okay, we've spoken that the 4.236 is a super common area for altcoins to go to, especially if we reach some kind of parabolic peak moving into 2022 and we get a good run at some point, okay. That also coincides here, and we've also spoken about the 4.236, how we can tend to overshoot sometimes by in and around that 150%. So you never know, like I said, maybe this extends out a little bit further, but we can see some kind of confluence that we might look out for some kind of peak at the summer for Link around these prices, okay? So that 4.236 puts us at that $240 mark. So that is, what we're seeing on the USD chart and how we can extrapolate that. Obviously, like we said, it's going to be fluid. It's not going to be completely you know, static, because it's all dependent on the price of Bitcoin and how it runs against that. But you know, that's basically what I'd be looking at for Link. We're at key support, so not a bad time to change your Link to BTC. Okay, or rather other way around, your BTC into Link. Or if you've got any fresh powder, you could always buy at these levels because you're at key weekly support. So also, if we just have a look at Link ETH, we have been like severely downtrending, and if you look at some of the key moving averages, like the weekly 21 week, which is our key momentum indicator, as soon as we lost this, we're straight into a downtrend, and you can see that we retested this a few times up in this region, and we've basically been falling apart. But again, we want to find those key areas of support resistance. Are we anywhere at the moment? Well, yes, we are. We can see in Confluence on the weekly that we're basically at key support. On the Link Bitcoin chart, we're also at key support, and we can see that we would expect some kind of reaction around this level. Okay, we can see this big block here where we basically got a lot of price action going on, and essentially this is where we eventually broke out of our resistance over here, and maybe over here we're speculating that we're forming some kind of support. And Link doesn't necessarily need to be a coin that just goes all the way back up against Ethereum and, you know, goes to all new time highs, although that's something that could happen. But what we do want to see is we want to see Link you know, essentially oscillating and going up and down versus Ethereum. That gives us an indication it's a coin that we want to hold, because like we said, it's been very underwhelming in the past year and a half and lost 90% of its value versus Ethereum. So I'd be drawing this trend line in over here as we did on the BTC chart, and if we didn't do that, we'll do that here. Okay, and then this will be our key momentum indicator if we can break through these lines, okay, and then start to make a push towards you know, this 16,000 Satoshi level on Link BTC, and we'll probably see something similar over here. So just expect, you know, that we're maybe starting to carve out some kind of bottom on Link, especially versus its you know, BTC and Ethereum pair. But we want to see us get above the weekly 21. We want to see us hold support at these levels and start to break through these trend lines and start to push up. And the first level of resistance that we would expect to see for Link versus Ethereum would be this level at the, you know, 0.08650 level, and then we also have another block over here that we'd be looking to target if you're looking to take profits into Ethereum at any point. Okay, so that's how I'll be looking at that. And just from here, from, you know, from this bottom to here, that's a 50% increase. But, you know, if Link was to make a good run and to recover some of these losses, then essentially, you know, we're looking at maybe 160, 200% move somewhere up here. But yeah, so just something to look out for. So we've got that seasonality in Link where we tend to peak in the summer. We're at key horizontal resistance support. Definitely one of my top picks moving into next year. So those are the price targets to look out for. And yeah, if you like this sort of analysis and you want to see more of it, like I said, give me a like down below. And yeah, and then I'll catch you in the next video.